Welcome back. So we're back on the home screen of Salesforce after having logged in. So to give you just a quick overview of the screen, we have the Salesforce logo in the Edition version here in the top left. We have the main search box for looking for individual clients, contacts, or referrals up here in the middle, and then we have the a menu with your name on it. The main thing you need to know about this one is that the log out option is on that menu, and obviously it's nice and more secure to log out at the end of your session rather than just leaving it open on the browser window or closing down the browser without logging out. So the best option, the most secure option, is to use the log out menu. You needn't worry about these menus at this stage. They're not necessary for routine operation of Salesforce. So we're going to start where I guess most businesses would start with referrals or potential customers. So let's click on referrals, and this takes us to what's called a list view, which will show either your or your unit's most recent incoming referrals. So you can take a look at these and decide which one you wish to work on if you haven't been specifically instructed, or if you wish to create a new referral, then click the new button here. So this takes us through to the referral screen, and there are a lot of different fields in here that you could fill in, and the extent to which you fill these in will depend on the policy in your unit. But from my experience and from insight as to what our requirements generally are, there's only so many of these fields that you actually need to fill in at this stage, and you can go back and backfill should it prove necessary. So the first and most important field here is the Apex Unit Referral To field, where you pick your particular unit. So in this case we'll do Glasgow, then the first name and last name of the client. So I'm just going to make up some names here. And then, so as not to cause confusion in the system, because this is a test or demo, I'm putting test in after the person's name. You shouldn't need to do that. Just Jennifer Smith would do fine. Now, that's all the system needs for the referral to be created. So at this point you could click on save, and that information would be recorded. However, there are various other fields that will come in useful. Generally, the person's title is good to fill in. We have Mr., Mrs., or Miss. So in this case it's Miss, and gender, male or female, or prefer not to say. So female. The date of birth is good to have. That's often required either by us internally or by funders. So if you can put in the date of birth, you can pop up a calendar. Now the calendar isn't great, but because it only offers you a small range of years. But what you can do is, let's say the person's birthday was the 9th of May, and then you can manually change this to get the correct date into the field. Okay, national insurance number. It's a dummy one I think I have from somewhere. Should be filled in if you have it available. Now you'll see a field here called barriers to. Barriers is very important information for us to record, but this is an old field that's no longer used anymore, so you can ignore that one, and we'll come to it again in a moment or two. Educational attainment on registration is a useful piece of information. There are about 10 options, and there's information on the different levels over here in this little text field across here that tells you what level qualifications the person has. I'm not an expert in these. I'm a long time out of education, but we'll just go for level 3 here, which is National 5, Skills for Work National 5, New Hire, Higher Skills for Work Hire, New Advanced Hire, and so forth. So we'll have that in there. You can put in additional information on skills and attributes should you so wish. Sorry for the beeping noise in the background. I have a slight technical issue with my computer. Client contact details. This is where you would record the address and town or city name. The rule here is that if it's a straightforward address like 23 High Street, Glasgow, which might sound a little unlikely, then you miss out the area or town. We appreciate if the main postal town, as they're referred to, goes into the third field. If you have a house name that needs to be recorded and then a street address, then it would be done that way. You'd put in the postcode, whatever it is, and a home telephone number or mobile telephone number. The default field is the if in doubt, you can put the mobile number into the home telephone field. Then there's beginning to be more specific information relevant to Apex, and they're working with the client in here. You can take a look through these fields in more detail when you get time. And then we come down to reason for referral. So many of the people we're working with at the moment, it's steps. So you select the one you want, you click on it, and then click the right arrow key, and it pops it into this field over here. If you wish to add another one, you can do so, and that will go in there as well. If you wish to take one out, you can use the little left arrow key. And here we have the new barriers field, known as known barriers to engagement, and you can then highlight as many barriers as you like, as you think is appropriate for the client. So let's say the client has a problem with numeracy and literacy in this case. They also have family caring responsibilities and some mental health issues. So again, select the issue you want and click into the right. You can record here if the person has a history of violence or sexual offending. Here, these fields are all optional. It's basically about where did the referral for, in this case, Jennifer Smith, come from, and when did it arrive, and so forth. But if we can get the name of the referrer or the company or organization and nothing else, then that's a good start. So in this case, let's say job center in city center. Sure, that's not the best way to do it, but we'll record it as that way. If it's a particular individual, you can put that information in there. Date of referral, if you want today, you can just pop that in. The other information is voluntary. If you're involved in doing initial assessment planning of the person, then you can record that information in here. Typically, I believe we're not doing that in most instances, so you probably don't need to worry about it too much. The next set of fields are background information for RSO and Schedule 1 cases. It is policy, I believe, to record such information as you deem necessary for the client's safety, for other people's safety, for you and your colleagues' safety as well. But if in doubt, please talk to your unit manager, your SDM or CC. So that's us gone through the form. It needn't take a terrible amount of time if you're filling in the sort of fields that I have filled in here today, and there are no sort of special issues. Then it should only take you, 5 minutes or so to do, and then you would click save. Now there is a process that takes place as the save takes place behind the scenes to record the information in the database. And then what we need you to do is create client from referral. So if you're going on to immediately actively work with this person, then please hit the create client from referral, and that will basically create a client or contact. The two are the same. So we'll do that. It'll tell you it's done. Reloads the page, and now you'll see under the client field here, and this is quite important, for the referral, that a client or contact record has been created for Jennifer, and all you need to do is click through on that, and you come through to the main contact record for this client, for Jennifer. There's a lot of different fields in here, and we'll cover these in the next video. Okay, thanks.